As long as Adams is still alive, he's a threat.
This first bit that we'll show is just to show some of the over-the-top cinematic work that we're doing in the game. There aren't a lot of fixed cinematics that take away the player control, but this is one that the game picks up right where the first one left off. You don't have to have played the first one to enjoy Conduit 2, but if you did, there's quite a few nods to the players. Player at the end of Conduit 1 went through a conduit, and we kind of left that as a cliffhanger. And where you come out at the start is on an oil derrick in the middle of the North Atlantic, actually in the Bermuda Triangle. We really did a lot to listen to what players had to say and media on the first game. There were quite a lot of things we feel like we got right. We got things like the aesthetics of the game as far as technical capabilities of the Wii and pushing it further than other developers and publishers had. We got the control right. We did a solid multiplayer outing. There were quite a number of areas where we needed to improve though, and some of those being our story. The single-player campaign mode was definitely on the short side. There were some design flaws in the original game. Those are all areas that we've spent quite a lot of effort on working out. Things like AI and enemies having a lot more intelligent behaviors is, for the player, for a more engaging experience. The game takes place all over the globe. We weren't focused just on DC as in the first game. You do get to revisit that area, which is a lot more war-torn and devastated. But we open up to a lot of different global locations, everywhere from China to Siberia to some more fantastic locations like the Lost City of Atlantis, Agartha, some really interesting locations that allowed our creative teams to run wild a bit more. Story was an area that we felt was a bit weak in Conduit 1. There was quite a bit of story there, but we really made the player dig around quite a lot for it. And in this time around, what we did was we hired on some external writers to help us out with that. Matt Forbeck was one of them. He's a novelist, has written quite a lot of fantasy and science fiction work. And Jason Blair, who had worked on Prey and a number of first-person shooters, and that was really useful getting their insight. Having Jason come on with the team, working 3 days a week directly with the team was really valuable. This is very early in the game, obviously, here, so Matt's being sort of stepped through it. Although this seems somewhat linear, the game does open up a bit more as you progress through. That was kind of a neat thing that they just showcased, Matt showed there, which is flippable terrain. The environments are a lot more interactive. You'll notice that the enemies will do things like, of course, they'll flip terrain themselves, but they'll also do things like dive out of the way of grenades. They'll work in tandem with each other. They'll react differently depending on what weapon you have and what weapon they have, giving themselves a lot more intelligent behavior and a lot more of a challenge. The ASC returns, as Matt just showed there. It's used as a collection device throughout the game, but it also has a meaningful gameplay purpose as well, where you're able to use those things to then go in and as collectibles, you can use those credits to then unlock things like additional weapons, upgrades for your character, and even unlock additional gameplay levels. We've got a large variety of weapons this time around. We've got 21 unique weapons, which is quite a bit more. We really listened to fans and some of the things that they wanted, some large, some small. Small things like addition of sprint and iron sights, things like that. All of our weapons have a secondary fire mode, which gives you a little bit more depth and complexity. And we really embraced a lot of the sci-fi. What Matt's showing off right here, more traditional armament, but we do have quite a lot of more fantastic sci-fi weapons.